Front Seat Live podcast happily presents my Year of Healing the Hustle podcast, where I, Jessica Butts, psychotherapist, 2.5-time author, corporate trainer, and Myers-Briggs expert, share my raw, vulnerable, honest, and in the moment experiences of my journey to heal the hustle. I recently put my money where my mouth was, and I sold everything I owned and moved to Maui with 5 suitcases to explore this healing island. What has come up is a mountain of real life healing the hustle experiences I hope you can see yourself in, so you can also heal your hustle while still being unapologetically who you are. Let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to How We Got Here, Part 2. So in last week's episode, I kind of restarted the Healing the Hustle. Again, I had taken a little hiatus there and got off with my birthday podcast episode and 100th episode, and shit went down with my mom. And so anyway, we're back on track. And this section of the book and the section of the podcast is how we got here, how we got to the whole Healing the Hustle. And again, last week was your journey, my journey. I shared a little bit about like my family of origin and culture of origin and all of the traumas, big T's, little T's. It turned into, almost an entire hour episode. So I decided I better break all of these into 3 sections. So I always like to share a little bit of what's going on in my life before we kind of jump into content. I'm tired. Auntie Jess is exhausted. Here's a little life lesson before we jump into today's content about manifesting, though. This is fascinating. So for many, 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 many years, I mean, most of you know my dream has, I don't know, for like 20 plus years has been to move to Maui. It's been on my vision board. I've always envisioned I would live here. I just thought it would be later in my life. And then obviously, COVID happened and I was like, why do I live in Seattle? It's time to do it. And I'm here. But many years ago, part of this vision, we'll see if I can get through this without crying. Part of my vision was always to be the cool auntie that lived in Maui, to be kind of the weirdo, awesome, badass, interesting auntie who lives in Maui and does all these cool things and lives this very unorthodox life. Well, that manifested this week, and I'm exhausted and I'm exhilarated and I'm very, very, very happy. My dad and my niece have been here for 2 weeks, which this is why Auntie Jess is tired between working and, again, I'm a single person who lives by myself with no kids. I'm used to a lot of downtime. Props to all you mamas. This is a full-time job. And one of my very, very best friends for the last 20 years, her and her family are here, and I'm very close to her and her husband, and their kids are here, and their daughter. We got together. We've been together numerous times since, and we were walking around, and immediately she looks up at me and grabs my hand, which melts my heart. That's the part I might cry about, and says, "Can I call you Auntie?" So of course I was like, obviously. And then also my cousin and her entire family are here. So for the past week and a half, since I've been back from Seattle for a month, visiting and doing all of that, I feel very blessed. I feel like I have a tremendous amount of wonderful people in my life, which I'm so grateful for, especially as this pretty horrific thing is going down in my life with my mom right now. It just feels wonderful, but also a huge shout out to how unbelievable it is, the power of manifestation, the power of visualization, the power of setting goals, the power of strong mental images of what you want out of your life. because the last week in particular, having my friend's kid here, and just asking all these questions about my house and how I live, and being able to have her call me Auntie Jess and to go shopping with her, and then to have my actual niece here and be able to go shopping with her and just have her love and swimming and snorkeling and just having this incredible family time. I realized another one of these dreams, another one of these visualizations and dreams that I've always had happens and is happening and will continue to happen. And I had gotten away from it. I had it so long ago that when it happened, I kind of went, "Oh my God, here it is. It's unfolding." So be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you think about all day. A little side note before we get into all of this, because what we think about all day becomes. What we think about all day becomes. If you're thinking you're fat and broke and loveless, you're going to be fat and broke and loveless. If you have weird images of living in Maui and having your friends' kids come visit you and being called Auntie Jess and all of these awesome things, then I have no doubt that that is going to happen for you. So let's jump into today's content. So let's talk a bit about our new world. So again, last week was how we got here, our journey, family of origin, traumas, codependency, all of that. I want to just talk this week about the reality of our new world. So for people that are, relatively my age, 49-ish, within, 10 or 15 years of that, either way, the last 30 years have completely changed our existence. And so for the first however many years of our lives, like 20 years, none of this crazy shit was going on. I remember like in high school, college, even when I started my first job out of college, like all we did was work. We didn't have computers. We couldn't, there was no like internet. We didn't do any of this stuff. And so within 30 years, our lives have completely changed. And so with technology and phones and obviously social media, how we got here is this massive, this has to be addressed. We've got to acknowledge the fact that we are in hustle culture absolutely because of this new world we live in. The fact that I was looking at my book earlier and all of the things I had written down about how people can contact us. So back in the day, people called us on the telephone connected to our houses. This is how far we've come. Remember, girls, all we had the cool phones with the super, super, super long cord so that we could like go into the bathroom and have a private conversation and have our parents not hear us. Like that is our lifetime. Like we used to do IRL in real life. Everything was IRL. It was on the phone. We had to actually see people. We would sneak out of the house to go see people. And now it's Instagram messages, Facebook messages, text messages, email, Marco Polo, Voxer, whatever, all the other ones. There's so many that I'm not even aware of, TikTok messages, whatever. It's insane, this world that we live in. Also, the addition of social media. Talk about a hustle. I really don't even know what to say about it. I find it pretty baffling. I don't know if it's just getting older or if it's living in Maui and kind of just separating myself from the mainland and all of the chaos and the news. And it's just insane to me how much time we spend scrolling other people's lives that don't even matter, especially like celebrities and things. Like we're obsessed. And the amount of time that we spend getting new followers or looking for comments or looking for likes, even if we don't have a business. It's really, this is a trauma. I feel like we are like, not only is it a cultural norm that we're in, but there is some sort of trauma going on of like not being seen or not being validated, where we have this obsession with needing followers and likes. And it is truly, truly, absolutely part of the hustle culture. And so, this entire book, I'm kind of unraveling it right now, and there will be a cure to this, obviously. But this part is more about addressing it and acknowledging that we are here. We are in a crazy, crazy cycle of hustling for things that don't matter. They don't matter. So as you're listening and you're looking at your own hustle, asking yourself why you're doing this. Is it for validation? Is it because you're supposed to? I was just did a guest podcast this morning, and we spent a long time talking about the shoulds. And, is somebody telling you on their podcast or in their group program or whatever in a book telling you how to run your life or business because you should do it a certain way? Like, where is this coming from? And instead, asking what you really want to do. Like, what would it mean to just take a break from social media for a day or a week or a month or a year or forever? I think about it a lot. There's parts of me that I know I like Facebook to stay up to date with what people are doing. Definitely with my business, I need to be on Instagram at least. But the others, I straight up refuse to do it. And, could I be doing more? Absolutely. Do I want to? Absolutely not. So asking yourself, why? Am I doing this because I should? Am I doing it because somebody told me this is the way to do it? Or do I want to do it? What part of it is fun for you, for your life or your business? And then where can you turn it off otherwise? So the other part that I am not an expert in this. And so I feel like there's people like my very, very dear friend, Sarah Dean, the Shameless Mom Academy, to go listen to her podcast. She's got so many great episodes on the patriarchy. And this is interesting to me because I had a very weird experience a few years ago where there was a couple of women. And it's weird that I even hold myself back at all for these two specific women, but they called me a victim on Facebook. And again, why I let that bother me, I don't know, but they called me a victim because I was talking about the patriarchy. And they just said, they are equal. They've never had a problem with the patriarchy or discrimination or oppression or suppression or anything. And I just thought, first of all, are you fucking kidding me? And they were they got into this huge fight. All the other women, 98% were defending, like, of course, people of color have to work harder. Of course, women have to work harder. Like, this is a real thing. But it really struck me that how many ignorant people there are out there around this topic of white people still saying, I don't see color, or I'm not racist, or I've never experienced anything, therefore it doesn't exist. Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I've never been raped. It certainly doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And so people that have that, and again, I don't even know why I bring it up in this way, because I think I guess because it was so shocking to me that there are anybody, but especially women, who think that that's not happening. And so then I have to think about specifically all the white men, cisgendered white men out there who may not realize the struggle that people of color and women and any minorities go through. And so there is a song by Taylor Swift called The Man. I put the lyrics in the book. Maybe I'll have James put them in here too. James, you're going to have a lot of show notes. But go listen to that song. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. The way that she talks about basically the patriarchy and how different women's lives are from men, and how it's part of the hustle. And it's part of how we have to work harder, and people of color absolutely have to work harder. And that is a real thing. And just like conservatives, I don't think any of you really listen to my podcast, but I am unwilling to argue about this. To me, it's just a fact. And so I encourage us all to look at our privilege, to look at our socioeconomic status, the color of our skin, cisgender white men, white women of privilege. All of us, we need to look at the different areas of our privilege, check that shit, and open our eyes to things that are going on, like racism in our country and the patriarchy and how that has controlled us for years and continues to control us. It's still going on in our country. And that is why they call it conservatism, because they want to put women back where they were, in 1925. And that is part of the hustle, my friends. That is part of us having to show up. Oh, it's getting me choked up. And work harder. And we also have to, spend money. We don't have to. We get haircuts, and we get our hair colored, and we buy makeup, and all of this bullshit that goes along with being a woman. So I'm going to stop there because I just don't, that's all I got to say about that. Okay. So I also want to talk about the fact that because of social media, because of podcasts, because of all the books out there, because of TikTok, I've talked about this before, that this weird, bizarre hustle around everybody's an expert, and that we should be doing this, and we should be wearing this, and you're not good enough if you don't have this TikTok thing, and or you're not cool enough if you're not, doing the cool dance or whatever. This is, it is prevalent in all areas of life, but if you are an entrepreneur, it is like times 10,000, I feel like. It is just the pressure of doing all of the things for our business. There are times that I look at my wonderful friends that have 9-to-5 jobs that also have their own struggles. But I'm like, my God, it would be amazing to somewhat check out of social media too. Like, if I gotta be honest, if I say this a lot, that when I'm done working, you will never see me again. I'm going to fall off the face of the earth, except for the people that are in my life, because I just don't, it's baffling to me how many people spend so much time, again, talking to strangers on the internet versus their actual friends. But back to my point about the entrepreneurship and how that hustle culture, all the online programs, there's so many different coaching programs. There's so many different people telling you so many different things. And, episode 1, when I kind of came back from my little 8-month hiatus, hey, I told you guys, it's a bunch of bullshit. Most of these people have no fucking idea what they're talking about, nor do they have any credentials, and they are claiming to be experts, and it's terrifying. So they're telling you, you got to do reels, and you got to do this, and you got to be on TikTok, and this is how you get your TikToks to show up, and you got to you got to film 5 seconds of your entire life, and blah, 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 blah. It is, we got to stop. That hustle culture is going to make us fucking crazy. It's gonna make us crazy. And so there's a couple of different areas in our lives where the statement is true, which more isn't always better. And so I'm going to talk about it in a second around capitalism and our addiction to buying shit. But also, more isn't always better in terms of clients. More isn't always better in terms of revenue. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a book called Profit First. I'll give credit where credit is due. What's your profit? That's really all we should care about. People are like, oh, yeah, I'm making, $1 million or whatever. I'm like, but how much are you spending? And they're spending, like $800,000. I'd rather just have a business model where I make $250,000 and spend, 25% on my business versus all that it takes. Because trust me, I was at almost $1 million and it's not better. It's not better. It is absolutely insanity because you gotta spend a lot of money at that level. It's a completely different business model. And so it's more isn't better. More isn't better. I had a client ask me the other day, I'm still doing business coaching along with therapy. And she asked me very honestly, she said, did you feel like you were going backwards when you started seeing therapy clients again? And I was honest. I said, yeah, I did. And now I fucking love it. And my life is so much better and it's so much easier. And I don't have to do stuff that I don't want to do because I don't have to have 500 clients. I get to have 25 amazing connections. And that feels worth it. I mean, times a million. It's such a different way of being. And so more isn't always better, but we are addicted in our society as entrepreneurs. And then what I'm about to talk about, so I guess I'll go into that, is a whole new world around, again, that's what this is about, our new world about how we got here is we're in this real fucked up society right now where capitalism is before connection. And I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm trying to live by example. That's it. I mean, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. You guys know I gave away or sold. I mean, pretty much gave away, but sold or gave away everything I own. I'm really trying to not buy a lot of stuff, although, you got to have completely different clothes to live here. So I have been doing some clothes shopping. And that's true about business too, is that more is always better. The bigger house, the bigger car, or there's some sort of forward trajectory of our life and our business. If we are not up leveling our house, like I think it's fascinating when we talk about a starter home or that we're going backwards if we don't get bigger and newer and better and more shit and buying more couches. And it's insane. I guarantee if you go through even part of this process of purging your things, it is the most eye-opening experience I've ever had, other than moving to an island by myself. It is absolutely fascinating to look at all of the money, all of the voids I was trying to fill by building this 3-bedroom house with a huge garage, filling it with shit. And did it make me happy in the moment? Yeah. And then later I'm just like, wow, I just probably spent $150,000 on all this stuff. I mean, and then my house was, $600,000. This is what we do. More isn't better. But we got to get out of the society telling us that. Pinterest pictures and Instagram stuff and all these reels about all the, the elaborate, unbelievable vacations and your life has to, I've got a client right now who's just, I mean, sorry, her husband's about to have a heart attack and they're trying to decide between these two lifestyles of him taking this $1 million job or taking this $200,000 job. One's going to probably kill him and one's going to they're going to have ease and grace. And it's just how is this our world? How is that a decision that that we're so fucking obsessed with money that you're gonna like have, he has health problems. You're gonna have another heart. You're gonna die to have money. I mean, seriously, look at the areas in your life where it may not be that extreme, but it might. And what do you need to do? Again, this is how we got here. This isn't about healing it right now. This is the awareness. This is getting honest about where we are, what we've done to ourselves, why we are hustling so much. We are in this world where that is even a fucking decision of this job is going to kill me, or I can take this much lesser job and chill, and we just have to change our lifestyle a little bit. That should not be a question that we ask ourselves in our society. That's insane. So we are addicted to buying shit. We are addicted to this capitalist society that we live in. I had a friend tell me once, she was like, I'm a capitalist. And I was like, really? Like, are we friends? You're not. You can't be. But we're almost brainwashed into believing this. So I'm just calling bullshit on it. I am about connection before capitalism. And that is why I've gone back to one-on-one work. Because can I make a lot more money doing groups? Yeah, I did. And you know what? It's not better. You know what's the best? One-to-one connection, period, end of story. I used to do events. There was 150 people there. Now I do events and there's 12 people there. So 3-day events with 150 people. I didn't spend any time with those people. I was on stage barking at them. Now I'm going to spend 5 days. Sorry, I'm so excited. I just made myself cough. 5 days in this beautiful, amazing retreat center with 12 people. That is connection over capitalism. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Are you? I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there because I'm all fired up now and I just made my throat hurt. Okay, I am going to leave it there. You guys, this is what's up. This is our journey. These are the things we need to look at as to why we are hustling and why we need to heal this. I promise I have a shitload of tools for you in the coming weeks. And definitely this book, this sucker needs to get done. I promise it will get done. I'm shooting for early 2023 at this point, but this is what we're doing. This is, we got to look at it. We have to look at the past. We have to have some awareness in order to move forward. Okay, loves, I will see you guys next week when we are going to talk about the third part of how we got here, which is our need to do. Again, our journey, our crazy new world we live in, and then this obsessive need to do. And of course, I'll have a lot to say about that. Okay, love you guys. Please go over and give me a 5-star review if you love this on iTunes. I literally can't tell you how much that helps. It really, really, really does. I love your DMs and I love your messages. And you know what I love even more is a 5-star review on iTunes. So take that text, go over to iTunes, put it over there. It really does help all of us podcasters that are doing this shit. I'm doing this for free. I'm actually paying to do it. I'm not cool enough to have sponsors and stuff yet. So, I'm paying to do this. So that would be like a lovely, lovely gift. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.